Welcome to Brave Healer Productions. It's time to experience what's possible. So, what if there's something you haven't learned yet that could change everything? Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions Publishing, where we are helping the world experience what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the amazing author poets of one of our newest books that's coming out, I think, actually tomorrow at the time of this recording. Check it out, you guys. 100 poems and possibilities for healing. This is our volume 3 book. Look at that gorgeous sunrise. Shout out to Davide De Angelis for this beautiful cover art. Shout out to Kelly Kashula for our book design on the interior. And oh my gosh, look at all the amazing people that said yes to come in and give their hearts and souls onto these pages. Well, I've got 3 of those amazing people with me today. Jean Voice Dart is an expressive arts psychotherapist who helps others feel, reveal, and heal through the creative, expressive, and performing arts. Jen Potter is here. She's a self-made serial entrepreneur, speaker, and venture builder, founder of Epic 47, Epic Mamas, and South Coast Mamas and Babies. She inspires others to overcome challenges and pursue success. Melissa Maxwell is here. She's a multidimensional health coach, yoga teacher, and group facilitator. And y'all, those bios don't do these women justice. Seriously, I cannot wait to share them with you today. This project is a passion project of mine. The book is an incredible collaboration. Ladies, thank you all so much for saying yes to this project and really for pouring your hearts and souls onto these pages. Every time I open it up, I get goosebumps. Every time I read a line, I get more goosebumps. Jean, I want to start the party off with you today. Do you remember when you first started calling yourself a poet?
Yes, I do.
Tell us.
That's in my chapter in this book, because since early childhood, I was told, you're too emotional. Stop being so dramatic, from my mother, my sisters. Oh my gosh, you're so sensitive, and all that stuff. But something happened in high school. We had the poetry writing class, creative writing and poetry writing. And I walked in there, and here's all the high school kids, the cheerleaders, the football heroes, the multimedia nerds, whatever, everybody all mixed together. I was with the band people. And here we are, and we're writing. And it was the time to stand up and read our poems. And I did that, and I looked around the room, and I am dramatic and emotional. That's why I'm a performance coach and expressive arts therapist. And I read my poem with that, and I looked around the room, and oh my gosh, the people were, Jean, who are you? And oh my gosh. And I thought, I'm a poet. That's what I am. And it's okay to be expressive and sensitive and emotional. It's okay. That's I found my place.
What a gift to find it in school when it could have been quite the opposite. I have heard the opposite kinds of stories over and over again. What a gift that is to get to have that idea so young, yeah, right?
Yes, and I wasn't the only one. And we became this amazing family, all of us sharing our journeys, our traumas, and applauding each other. And the teacher taught us to do that. She taught us to recognize and applaud one another, and all the barriers were broken between cliques in high school. We became friends, and that was huge.
Oh my gosh, do you remember that teacher's name?
Yes, no, yeah, I don't. I remember remember her. I remember her face. I don't. It was too many years.
Oh,
I'm very
oh,
old.
I wish we could remember these names because I'd be like, we love you, Teacher Smith.
We
Like,
love
thank
you.
you for
Yeah.
doing that. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Awesome, Jean. Thank you. Thank you. I love these stories, you guys. All right, let's hear it from you, Jen. Do you remember that moment when you first started calling yourself a poet?
I do. And you talk about it could be so much worse and it could be the opposite, right, Jean? I was the opposite. So when I was in high school, I loved to write. And I was always told that I write like I talk. And nobody wants to listen to a book or listen to somebody, recite something that sounds like they're talking and not like a book. And so I really struggled really early on with writing because I'm like, nobody wants to listen to me. Nobody wants to hear me talk. And then over the years, like Audible came out and all of these different things started to change. And I realized I was like, wait, but I like how that sounds. And other people are listening to this. And it wasn't till I was 40. I was 40 and I wrote my first book and I was like I'm a writer and then all of a sudden something just clicked inside me. I'm like I'm not just a writer, I'm a poet. And being around you, Laura, and like hearing it more and just kind of like embedding it in my head because even after I wrote my first book I was like whatever, like it didn't stick. And then all of a sudden it was just yes, I'm going to embrace it. I had a really hard time embracing it. And I think because, like you said, Jean, it's emotional, it's dramatic, it's a lot. I use my hands when I talk, and so I was embarrassed. It was, which is really weird because I embrace it and I love it, and it's me, it's who I am. I can articulate my words with poetry more than I can any other way. So it's beautiful that my story is very different. But Jean, listening to your story, I'm like, oh, that sounds so beautiful. I love it.
However people get there, right? And there are
Right.
some people that it's well into adulthood, and that would be my story as well. It didn't happen until well into my probably 40s as well. But you're just making me chuckle because one of the first things, like in the writing sessions that we do for the books, I look at all of you and I'm like, write like you talk. That's what I tell you all. And it's, because you want people to have an experience like they're having a conversation. And so you were on the right track from the very beginning, Jen. You were.
I wish I only knew.
Yeah.
All right, Melissa, let's hear your version. Do you remember when you first started calling yourself a poet?
I think I'm still working on that one. But it was approximately 3 months ago when you invited me to this project. I definitely wrote poetry and I loved writing music and songs when I was in high school, but I never would have called myself a writer. It was like purely for me and in my journals and how I expressed myself. No one ever heard a single thing that I wrote. And I didn't really even like reading poetry, honestly, when I was in high school. It was just like a way that I was like, "Oh, I can get my emotions out this way," but I don't like Shakespeare. I don't like reading any of it. It just seemed so boring and mature, and just to be honest. And then you invited me 3 months ago and I was like, "Okay, seems like a challenge. I can do this, right?" And I allowed myself to be curious enough to, step into this new role and like invite back in some of that writer back from high school when I wrote songs and music. And I was like, I can do it. Look at me go. And it was actually really fun because in my poems, I use a bunch of different writing styles, and it feels so new and fresh. Like I haven't found my style, but it's just like it's this is all new to me. And so um I wish I could be like, oh, I've been writing poetry for like 40 years, but I'm so new, and I'm really, really grateful to be able to step into this new like chapter of my life.
I love hearing this part, this kind of story also. And actually, I beg to differ. You were writing songs, so you were writing poetry really, really early in your life. And I think it's another thing that I start to hear over and over again is some of that writing moving from your soul. It was moving out maybe earlier in your life. You didn't see it as poetry or whatever it was. A lot of the poems that move through me, I've had other people look at it and go, oh, that looks like a song, right? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, and it's like the opposite thing. I'm like, well, maybe I'm writing lyrics and I think so, but I love hearing that too, because I think there are several others in this particular collaboration that we put together, volume 3, where it was that they were being so brave, like you, Melissa. They're being brave and they're being like, yeah, I think I can do that. Like, I've got some poetry. There was something that was making them curious, like you. And this makes me so, so happy because this is for our audience. This is for everybody. The thing I want you all to know the most about poetry, the way that it can be for you, is there are no rules. And for some of us, that got trashed in school. In school, it was like, oh, here's the rules. Here, you got to analyze this, and we got to do that. And I felt the same way as you, Melissa, about reading some of those. It's like, oh, I am not enjoying myself. I don't get this. It wasn't like coming into this heart space for me. But this book, these poets here, these authors, oh my gosh, you guys. I hope you get your hands on this book as fast as you can. You are going to have experiences with their stories and then their beautiful poetry. I asked all of them to put 4 poems in their chapter. And then they've stepped up to write a prompt for you to let you dabble with your ideas and being inspired by what they wrote. So you can write right on that page. You might want your notebook next to the book when you get your copy. So many things. So now I want to ask, my no rules is the thing I want people to know. Jen, what's the most important thing you want people to know about poetry?
That when you read it, it's not just my story. So I think it's, when we read poetry, it's how we interpret it, right? So it's not necessarily just my story. It's how it affects you and your story as well. And I think looking at it, like you said, through the lens of there are no rules. And it's so hard when you have those constraints. Like, I actually mentor a young poet and she is so talented and she's so when she talks to me and she all the different types of poems and she's like giving me all the rules and she's like, do you know what I'm talking about? I'm like, nope. And it's she's teaching me and I'm learning something that I never actually picked up when I was her age. So it's really cool to kind of see it through her eyes and then also kind of, instill that be open, be curious. Like you're like, I'm still learning and we're all still learning. It's beautiful. Like I get so excited when I hear that because everybody just writes so different and it's such a beautiful way to express yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for that. I love taking classes. We're so lucky in the DC area. We have a place called the Writers Center, and poets come to teach workshops there. And those are like my favorite workshops to sign up for. It's like, yeah, teach me something new. I love that. Melissa, what do you think is the most important thing you want people to know about poetry?
I think it is just allow yourself to stumble like through it. I mean, for myself, I start with one line or like this line will like flutter into my head and it's just like, okay, let's run with that. And I allow it to be imperfect. I'm not like typically counting syllables, even though one of my poems is written like that. But, and I'm not like trying to rhyme and I'm just allowing it to flow through me because a lot of people hold all of this emotional baggage in them. And for me, it's like a way to like let it come out onto the paper, like literally emotionally vomiting out and bring it outside of myself so that I don't have to ruminate on it anymore. So just like let it be imperfect, let it be almost ugly. And you can always come back, and if you want to make it all pretty, make it pretty. And then it could be something you post and share or read to someone else, but just allow it to be for you first. And just it can be ick. It's fine. You can even burn it. It's great. And this is how I allowed myself to like get into it after years, decades of not writing this way. And I was just like, I'm going to be imperfect and it's going to be fine. And then maybe version 20 will be good.
100%. Right. I write to feng shui my soul first. I write for me first. And later, if it's something, I want to make it into something different. I want to make it into something that's edited or perfected or prettied up, like you say. I love that. That is really, so, this book is more about poetry, more than about poetry. It's the idea that writing is the healing process. So for you all out there, it doesn't have to even be anything you call poetry. Write in a journal, write some thoughts, move your thoughts from in here through your fingertips, through the pen, and get them out of you onto the paper. That is awareness. There's where the healing opportunity lies. Then if it turns out that it's a poem, yay, like that's beautiful. Oh my gosh, so many of my healer friends are writing journals, and I'm hearing what they're writing, and like, that's a poem, right? Like that's a poem. And it's so wonderful when we connect, but it's a healing process first. That is what I love the most about it. Jean, what's the most important thing you want people to know about poetry?
Well, I should say that even though that happened way back when I was 17 and I said I'm a poet, I haven't shared as a spoken word poet or a written poet until now. Sharing it because it's always been for me, as you're saying, Melissa, and it's been therapy. I'm a expressive arts therapist, coaching others and helping them express through that. So for me, what I want to share is share it. If you're working, for me, it's always for myself to write and get it out and express. But when you share it, even if you're just sharing it in the mirror, looking at yourself or your dog or your mom or your sister, sharing it, that is such a turning point. And this year with your open mic, Laura, sharing it, that was the first time I really shared as a spoken word poet, which was just recently. But sharing it, you can change the world. Your words, your brave words, your words are making a difference. It's one thing to do that for me for like 60 years, writing as a way to heal for myself, but getting it out there is amazing. And that's what this book does. So I just applaud all of you, all of the people in this book for doing that and sharing it. It's amazing. I know you have something to say about that, Laura.
Just a couple things to say about that. Like, listen, this takes a badass, y'all, because you don't skip from journal writing to publishing typically. And then the step above that is grabbing a microphone. So this is brave story medicine. This is the method. We start with the journaling, but the tip I have about sharing, just read it to yourself out loud first. Nobody else needs to be in the room, because sometimes when you hear your own why, you're putting the vibration of your voice to the words, and now you are hearing yourself speak them. Your why will make you cry. Your why will buzz through you like nothing else. So even just reading it to yourself out loud. And then, yes, we get a little braver when we share in a group like this, a small group, or we decide to publish and let more than our mom and our BFF read our stuff. And then that gets scarier. And then we might decide to grab a microphone, So yeah, this is the whole thing. It's actually the reason for the word brave before healer in terms of my company. It's like, are we going to be brave enough to share out loud and possibly change a life? This
Save
is
a life. Yeah.
big potato stuff. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Speaking up and speaking in general, you guys, I have such a treat for you next. And I'm going to put Miss Jean on a little spotlight here. I'm going to make sure that's all set up because our poets oops, you know what? That's the wrong order. So give me a second, you guys. Our poets, we're going to have Melissa first. Jean, hang on. Um, our poets are going to read for you. And this is absolutely the most powerful thing ever. It's what I said before. You get to hear the passion, you get to hear the pause, you get to hear, all of that amazing stuff. Melissa, we are ready for you if you are ready.
I'm so excited to share this poem. It is the words that I needed to share. Excuse me. Oh my God, the tickle, right, of the nerves. These are the words that I needed to find after going on my first backpacking trip with my dad on the Appalachian Trail. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, and it was an 8-day, 100-mile trip. And I titled this poem 100 Miles. My journey began with this single step into the land of birds, insects, and trees, following weathered, white-painted blazes to breathtaking overlooks down lush valleys. Tunnels of mountain laurel paved the way as beams of orange sunlight dried up the path. Delicate white petals dusted the ground. Breezy green leaves shook off their dewy bath. A steady pace drew me into my thoughts. Old stories arose to be rewritten. My mind tiptoed into cavernous wounds, plucking loose scabs I expose untouched skin. Gazing up through dense dogwood canopies, crunching over pale peelings of birch. Its bark reminds me that I too can shed. Masks fall away in my ivy-draped church. Loose rocks and thick roots threaten my footing, presence tested by each little stumble. Mind seeking miles, body craving rest, into streams my walls began to crumble. The climbs burned my lungs, descents my poor legs, pleading for the relief of level ground. Yet easy trails brought in harder thoughts, torturous memories spun my head round. Each day was a foot race against daylight, aching feet and knees ready for retreat. My empty belly grumbled as light waned, a barred owl hooted away summer's heat. I stirred from sleep to the sound of silence, as dewy beads soaked through thin nylon sheets. Sunrise waiting for the raven's sharp calls, taking first steps through damp grasses and weeds. Dark clouds dimmed daylight for miles ahead, prepared to wash away shielding lies. In a muddy baptism rain showered, my rebirth in nature I do surmise. The thirsty earth soaked up the sky's waters. Fearless treetops stood up to windy blows. I saw harmony within the fierce storm, Pachamama teaching me all she knows. Leaves of sassafras spiced the forest air. I could taste the spring's mineral-rich drip. Both ears perked at distant coyote howls, awareness restored near sharp as a whip. Though I yearn to trace the path the crow flies, gazing far away hilltops of green hues, I weaved on foot through steep rocky switchbacks to shed tears stood atop peaks I once mused. What I thought was a long walk in the woods, 'twas really nature's initiation, an embodied surrender to divine, my soul's heartbeat resynced with creation. Out of the groves I return to safe hold, with lessons the warblers and bees once told. I carve a new rhythm from nature's mold. And thank you so much for listening. That is the first time I ever read my poetry out loud to anyone but my husband.
Oh my gosh. We are super honored. Okay, wait, I got to get everybody back into our little view so that we can all snap and clap and do all the things. Okay, gals. Yeah, we wave, we
So
snap,
beautiful.
we clap. Yes. I write lines down, y'all. So like I was just with you on the mountain, Melissa. Old stories arose to be rewritten. Like I felt that, and like soul's heartbeat resynced, like, oh, so many juicy, juicy lines. And gosh, I am honored that we are your first.
Thank you. Thank you.
The artistry and the composition, the rhythmic and rhyme, it's just so beautiful, and your musicianship just flows through that. It's just very, very good. Thank you so much.
All right. You guys, let's have Jean coming up here next. And so give me a moment while I bring her. And I think, Jean, we are ready for you.
Okay. So again, I write poetry to help myself express emotions. So this will be emotional. So grab your Kleenex. This is called Teardrops Bathe My Heart. Teardrops bathe my heart, filling it with gratitude. The sacred sound purifies my eternal being. I am home. You stand nearby. Your whispers of wisdom wash upon me like the wind. They comfort me. Now and always, I'm never alone, never alone. Teardrops bathe my heart. Memories of you walking beside me, always there, opening my eyes. Cold teardrops bathe my heart. Sitting in my warm home, surrounded by framed memories. Happy times, smiles and hugs. Loneliness, I hate you. Loneliness, I love you. Why do you follow me? Why do you tease me? The frosty air awakens my lungs. My aging fingers tap, slip, and rest. My youthful agility dissolves as I watch the years fly by. Older now, aching, shaking, waking, taking time to heal. Teardrops bathe my heart. Loving memories tug at me. Where are they now? Grown and gone. A metal cane rests against the door. A warm blanket cradles and comforts, and I sit in solace, surrendering in serenity, rocking to remembered rhythms and humming to unwritten melodies. Teardrops bathe my heart, yet here at my side is the comforter, always with me. empowering me, whispering gentle words of wisdom and peace. Always remember you are the joy. Always remember you are the love. Always remember you are the light, not a pretender, not a contender, not wrapped in splendor. With words so tender, always remember surrender. Surrender. Yes, you did. Yes, you will. Yes, you are. Follow the call, follow your heart, follow the call, never depart. Teardrops bathe my heart, gratitude washes over me, my muscles ache, my eyelids close. A burning fire pulses through my veins, emblazoned within me. A tear drips down my cheek, warming me with love. Who am I to be so blessed? Who am I to be so loved? Thank you. Thank you. I'm finished. I'm yours. I'm done. Teardrops bathe my heart with humility and grace. I'm whole and purified by your embrace. I'm loved always, and heaven is forever mine. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that beautiful gift, Jean. Okay, hang on, gals. I'm bringing everybody back into the room so that we can all have a moment of, there it is, snaps and claps and waves. I loved loneliness. I hate you, loneliness. I love you. I love that. I like when we can embrace the, I don't know, duality of life. Always remember you are the love. Those are the lines that got me. I also am a kind of an alliteration geek. So you did a few, you did a few spaces of alliteration words where I'm like, yes, yes, give me more of that. Thank you for that beautiful gift, Jean.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It was beautiful. The part with surrender, I got full goosebumps because it was just like so fast, and then you drop down, and I'm like, ooh, my whole body went there. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, Jen, let me get you set up and ready. Let's get it moving here. Okay, we are ready for you, Miss Jen Potter.
All right. Well, thank you. So this was inspired by my mom passing, which it plays a big part in my poetry. And so this is some of the feelings that I felt. Slamming doors pounding in my memory, shattered mirrors crashing down, scattered self-reflection across the floor, piecing myself back together slowly. While lost in the chaos, guarded walls, I have to protect myself, protect my mind. Closed tightly, I can't let anyone in, protect my heart. What do you know? I just can't. You don't get it. No, I won't. Falling short, false promises, scars in my mind and scars across my body. Afraid, always on high alert. Allow myself to be vulnerable? How can I allow myself to trust someone not to hurt me? How can my soul settle down enough to allow someone in? Fear. Fear of judgment greater than fear of facing the truth, because the truth is, actually, I don't know how. How can I let my guard down? No one understands why it's so hard living in this mind that is racing uncontrollable noise in chaos. Why can't I just get the noise in my head to soften? Screaming from the bellows of my belly, I am searching for safety, an entire life of searching. searching, searching. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. All right, bringing everybody right back up again. Thank you so much for that amazing gift of a poem. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Okay, snaps and claps and waves to Jen. I love all. I just love the realness of that and your vulnerability in the poem and just helping us into your world of feelings. That was really, really beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Yeah, really connected to the questioning. You're asking yourself, how can I? How can I? And the chaos. I think we all can connect to that. Thank you for being real and vulnerable. Yeah.
Thank you.
I feel like you wrote that as an expert writer because it did sound like someone was speaking, and I could have put those exact words into my mind and had the same thoughts. So thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
recognizing that.
That means a lot. Thank you.
Okay, to all three of you today, thank you so much for what you do in the world. Thank you for being here today to share it with everybody. Thank you for your beautiful poems today, for being a part of this beautiful project. I want to tell everybody now that this is way more than a book, you guys. This is a generous community. So I have Jean and Melissa and Jen all hooked up down below with their websites. Please go click and explore because they're there to answer a question, give support, learn about what they're up to in the world. It is a lot of awesomeness. Of course, we would love for you to hop over to Amazon and grab your copy of this beautiful book, 100 Poems and Possibilities for Healing. I want you all to know that a portion of the royalties from this first quarter of our launch are going back to support my nonprofit partner, the InkWell. And that's founder Miss Cayenne Thomas. So please go grab a copy because it's going to have an even bigger ripple than the ripple that's already started from the book itself. We really appreciate those book sales. And hey, maybe you're a poet and you've got a mission to share your brave words in a bigger way. Connect with us over at bravehealer.com and see how you can be part of our next poetry collaboration. And lastly, today, everybody, remember your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone. Thank you, poets.